And hello there, Cougar Academy, and welcome to another lesson here, 9.2, how do you multiply polynomials? So we are finding products of polynomials. Really not too bad. Our first example here is a monomial. Remember, that's one term, like the -2, times a binomial, which is something with two terms. And simply put, it is like our distributive property. So you're just going to distribute and multiply. This would be negative 10x, and negative times a negative plus 12. And there's your answer, multiplied and distributed. Great stuff. For number 2, something to be aware of is you could also distribute variables. Let's pay attention to these exponents, 1 and 1. When we distribute 8y to 3x, you're going to multiply the coefficients, negative 24, and then xy. When we distribute to the next, a negative times a negative is going to be positive 16. And we add the exponents when you multiply to one another. So you're adding the exponents. That's why we did our exponent rules in the last chapter. So be aware of negative times a negative and the coefficients multiplying and adding the exponents. Other than that, there's your answer. Where the fun begins is with a binomial times a binomial. There's a few ways to do these, and one of the best ways is known as the FOIL. You're going to hear me reference that a lot. Not aluminum foil, but it stands for firsts, outers, inner, and lasts. So the process goes like this here. You're going to look at these two binomials and think of 6a and 5a as the firsts. And when we multiply those, we are going to get 30. A times a is a squared. So I'm going to use different colors here to label those out. That was the firsts. Then we are going to multiply the outer terms. These are the outers, 6a and negative 7. Multiplying those together gets you negative 42a. Then we look at the inners. So negative 1 and 5 are the inner terms, and we multiply those together, and that gives us positive 5a. And the last things we have not were multiplied are the lasts, and that's negative 1 times negative 7, or positive 7. A lot of times when you do this, you can combine like terms. So remember, if they have the same variable with exponent, you can add those together, meaning our final answer is 30a squared and minus 38a and plus 7. Okay, so 37a, sorry. Boop. Plus 7. There is the final answer. Okay, so FOIL, first, outers, inners, and lasts. Really the quickest way to go about it. So practice that one there if you want to pause and try number 4. But let's work on the process. Firsts. So basically, if you want to draw the arrows, that's helpful as well. 8 times 7 is 56. I had a moment there myself. B squared. B times B is B squared. So that's your firsts. Outers. Negative, or 8 times 8b times 8 is 64b. Inners. 7 times 4, 28. Don't forget the b. And lasts. 4 times 8 is 32 from there. If we can combine like terms, combine those. So 56b squared. 64 plus 28 is 92b. And plus 32. There you have it. Okay, so FOIL for those. 5 is a tricky one. Here is a common trap. So common trap, don't distribute the 2. You can't distribute the power. Okay? So what you do not want is 5k squared plus 3 squared. No. Okay? Instead, what we have are two instances, 5k plus 3, 5k plus 3. Two of them. Make note of that, star it. Once you do that, then you're going to have FOIL. So 25k squared plus 15k plus another 15k inners and plus the lasts plus 9, leaving you with 25k squared plus 30k plus 9. So little skull crossbones, little trap there. Don't distribute that. Guarantee you'll see some questions where I try and trick you, but make sure you don't fall for the trap. Okay, let's look at a few more examples, just mastering FOIL. First times first, so 8a squared. Outers, minus 28. A times b, so we have another variable. That's okay. Plus 2a times b. It's okay to rewrite those. And minus 7b squared. B squared because b to the first and b to the first. AB's can add together. 8a squared minus 26ab and minus 7b squared. Okay, so good old FOIL with extra variables. And let's look at one more, okay? 6u minus v times quantity 4u plus v. So 6u and 4, that's 24u squared. Outers plus 6uv. Inners minus 4uv. And lasts minus v squared. We can combine the UVs and get that there. So remember, FOIL, FOIL, FOIL. Sorry, actually one more example here. Number 3, binomial times a trinomial. This one here is, again, just a game of distributing. And the more that you keep things organized, the better it will be. So I'm going to use two different colors here and kind of follow what I do. 6p times 7p, okay? So start out just doing 6 times 7, 42. P to the third came from 1 plus 2. Also going to take the 6p and multiply it to the 3 and multiply it one more time to the negative 3. 6p times 3p is going to be 9p squared. And then minus 18p. So I distributed the 6p to everything. You want to repeat that process with the 1. So I'm also going to distribute it to all 3 of the terms. Now, when you do that, it's helpful to notice we have 7p squared. Notice how I put it underneath the other p squared. That's going to make your life easier. 1 times 3 is plus 3p. And 1 times negative 3 is minus 3. So I would recommend distribute and organize. When everything is lined up, it's real easy to add. So we just add down, and we have 42p to the third plus 16p squared minus, that's going to be 15p and minus 3. And there you have it. So organize, take your time, and distribute. The last one then, for real, is this one here. So just a little bit different in that it's backwards. Not so scary, though. We can repeat that same idea. Take 2x and multiply it to both of those things in the binomial. So that's going to be 10x to the third plus 8x squared. Next up, focus on negative 5x. Distribute it to both. That's going to be minus 25x squared. and minus 20x. And then focus on the last and distribute it to both. And that's going to be negative 30x minus 24. Again, I rearranged everything. So 10x to the third, 25 minus 8 is negative 17x squared, and negative 50x and negative 24. So a little bit of work. Stay organized. Just practice those, please. And let me know if you have some questions. But that is FOIL and multiplying. Great job, guys.